As a virtual assistant, your week can easily get chaotic. Emails, tasks, client demands, and before you know it, Friday comes and you wonder, what did I actually get done? Today, I'll show you how to create structure by creating your ideal week, one that balances productivity, giving you breathing room, using a simple system built on triggers, processes, and tracking. So, this is how an ideal week looks like. It's not rigid, but it's a structured map that keeps you focused. Instead of just jumping into whatever is loudest in your to do list, you plan your week around priorities like client work, admin work, learning, and even reflection, something that most of us kind of forget to do at the end of the week. And I will be covering that in today's session. So, let's start. So, step one is by starting to map out your ideal week in Google Calendar or whatever calendar that you will be using. And when you're doing this, let's think in themes, not just the tasks that you have in hand. And by themes, I mean by priorities or outcomes that you want to achieve on a daily basis. For example, let's say on Monday you want to set it out to be just for admin tasks, Tuesday and Wednesdays for deep work, and on Thursdays you want to set out meetings, maybe to follow up on something, and then on Fridays you do reviews and resets. Blocking time for focus breaks and even buffer zones on your calendar for unexpected tasks is a good tip to have while preparing an ideal week. When you assign a purpose to each day, you stop waking up wondering what should I do today, but your calendar tells you what's up for the day. Once you have your ideal calendar set up or mapped out, you now need to build systems around each task. And this is where you use what I mentioned about trigger, process, and tracking. In my opinion, every repeatable task should have three things: a trigger, a process, and a way to track it. Let's take an example. Let's say on Fridays, you always provide updates to your client of how the week has been. So the trigger here will be every Friday at 10 a.m., a pop up reminder comes in from calendar. You can set up these reminders on Google Calendar. I set mine an hour or 30 minutes before the meeting. This will trigger you to start the process of preparing for the meeting. The next step will be the process. Now, once you are reminded, you now open your client update templates. I always advise people to always have a client update template. This will help you in terms of filling it up with the wins, pending items, and any challenges that you have been facing so that you can have an easier discussion with your client during the meeting. Thirdly, it will be now to track it. This will be done probably after the meeting is done. You mark it as complete on your task tracker, either ClickUp, Asana, Trello, whichever one that you're using. When you use this pattern, the trigger, the process, and the tracking, you create a rhythm that removes decision fatigue and makes your life a bit easier. Now we have the ideal week set up, we have the systems in place. Now we need to set up the structures. So, how I would explain a structure is think of your ideal week like a car or a building. The structure is the frame, it's how everything is arranged and held together. In your week, that can be your schedule. When you work, how you arrange your work, when you rest and recharge. Now, the system, like what we just talked about earlier, is how things move and function within that structure. Your routines, tools, and habits that keep everything running smoothly. So, now to add structure, you will do that by batching. By batching, I mean you group similar tasks together. For instance, emails, content planning, or reporting. Let's say you're doing admin work. Let there be a flow from one task to the other to avoid context switching. So now that you know how to handle that, or you have planned out how to plan every task for the day, then use focus time in Google Calendar to protect those blocks. Just like with any systems that you set up, you need to have review and a reset done, probably let's say weekly or monthly. I spent some few minutes reviewing what worked for the week, what didn't, and what to adjust for the next week. And this is a mistake that most people make. They skip reviews, they miss patterns, wins, and chances to improve their systems. Another mistake that people make is also trying to do everything on one day. That spreads you thin and makes you lose a lot of energy in working on different areas that you need to work on, which will lead to your system failing. Something else is also stuffing your calendar too much. Productivity isn't about being busy, it's about moving the right things forward. So try and structure yourself in a way that you have enough time for rest and also to recharge so that you don't lose energy in doing the most important tasks. And that's it when it comes to creating an ideal week. When you start structuring your week with systems, you move from chaos to clarity. You stop chasing tasks and start leading your time. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more tips and guides for working remotely. If you have any questions or any suggestions for the next videos you would like me to upload, drop it in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. And other than that, thanks so much for watching and see you in the next one.